Brian, it is a great pleasure to welcome to the show today a man who has written a very interesting book as we come into the month of February. Super Bowl over, but dog lovers always love February because it's the Kennel Club Dog Show up in New York, Westminster Kennel Club, and dogs are on people's minds, and he has written a very interesting book about dogs called The Genius of Dogs, How Dogs Are Smarter Than You Think. And we're joined today by Brian Hare today. He's the professor of evolutionary anthropology at Duke University, and he joined us by telephone. And Brian, thanks for being with us. How are you today?
It's a real pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I wanted to have you on when we got the book, and then first of all, I got to congratulate you. Since we booked you on, I've seen the book's getting a lot of great buzz. I saw 2 articles in the New York Post about it, so that's got to make you feel good.
Well, it does make you feel good. I hope people enjoy it.
Dogs are one of those things that people really love. I mean, they really feel closer to dogs, some people, than maybe their own children. And I think you kind of delve into that a little bit in the book as far as how people communicate with their dogs. It must have been a kind of interesting project for you to kind of get into the actual science of that.
Well, exactly. And, I think what is important for people to understand is that the last 10 years, there's been a revolution in our understanding of dog psychology, dog cognition, so much so that all the discoveries really require a book to explain them all. So we really learned more in the last 10 years than the previous century, and so that's what the Genius of Dogs is all about, is sharing all that with people, and I think many of the discoveries are going to surprise even the most avid dog lover.
Yeah, what would be the most interesting thing that you found out going into this study about dogs that maybe surprised you?
Well, in many ways, dogs are solving social problems using humans that they couldn't solve on their own. And they're using techniques that the only other species that uses those techniques that we know of are human infants. So in many ways, dogs are basically deploying the same solutions to problems that our children use, and that's really the secret to their success.
When you look at a dog, whether you own one or a friend that has one, they kind of give you that look like they do understand you. Do they really understand you, or is that just kind of what dogs do? They look at you that way.
Well, there's been lots of discoveries about how dogs cooperate, whether they cheat, do they understand, do they feel guilty, do they have a sense of fairness, do they understand what we're saying to them, and all of that research we put together and share with everybody to let them know, where it is that dogs are remarkable, and also in cases where they're not so remarkable. They can be vapid, and that's okay. We still love them.
I've always heard, though, that dogs don't have a sense of time. In other words, if you're gone for several hours and you come back, they don't recognize that as 3 or 4 hours. It might be 2 minutes to them. Is that true, or?
I'm not sure where that comes from. I've heard that. I've heard that, and it's frequently said. But the truth is, there are lots of studies looking now at dog memory, and they have great memory, better than cats. And we know that they can remember individuals for years, and we know that they have rich social relationships, friendships. They bond with others. They know, sort of who is somebody who's trustworthy, who's not. So, I don't know where that comes from, but I didn't review anything in the scientific literature that would suggest that.
I know you talk in the book about dogs can understand words. I guess you had some studies where certain dogs can retain hundreds, even thousands of words in their mind. I guess they don't understand English per se, but I guess they make the associations. Is that what?
Well, what's cool is it's not that they understand so many words; it's how they learn the words, and that's the remarkable finding. Is they're learning the words using the same technique that kids are using when they start first learning language. And there's no other species that we've seen that does that. And so that was the big shocker in the last 10 years. What in the world is going on that dogs can do this? And even bonobos and chimpanzees, our closest ape relatives, can't do that.
And also gestures, which I found was interesting. I've tried that with dogs that I'm around, and pointing at something, and sometimes they look and then do it, and other times they don't. But that's unusual for an animal to be able to do that, right? Pointing at something and they understand you.
That's right. We've looked at that in lots of different animals, and it ends up that's probably what's really remarkable about dogs, in that they can use our gestures to solve problems they can't solve on their own. But that leads into another really fascinating and fun opportunity for your listeners, which is that not only can they get the genius of dogs and learn about all the research on all dogs, the species, what makes it special, but if they go to dogmission.com, they can participate and play some of these cognitive games that we've developed to use with dogs to assess dog intelligence. You can do it at home with your own dog, and you play the games, and the website will then compare your dog's results to all the other dogs that have played these games and give you a report and explain to you what does that mean about your dog's intelligence, how does it compare to other dogs, what's special about your dog, and how can you use that information to enrich your relationship.
That's great. Yeah, I look forward to checking that out. Because I mean, it's fun if nothing else. I mean, you're trying different things, but it's a game to the dog. They don't know you're trying to, read their minds, so it's kind of fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, it'll be fun, but it also helps you connect, because it ends up there are different types of intelligence. So you can have a dog that has a lot of empathy, or is really good at communication, or has amazing memory, or is really cunning, or you can have a dog that's really spending a lot of time reasoning. And let's go measure this. You can find out about your dog. Is it that your dog is that empathic dog? Is your dog the one that's super communicative? That's what DogNation.com can help you do by comparing your dog to all the other dogs that have played these games.
I know we have limited time today. I'll get you out on this question, but have you figured out, or in the study, Doctor, what dogs think we are? Do they think we're just other dogs, or do they know we're something else? Why do they like us?
I think they know we're something else, and there's something that they actually like better than other dogs. I think they know that we're humans, but they love us even more.
I always wondered. I mean, they like us. They're very accepting of us. What do they think we are? But
well, essentially they've evolved to adore humans, and that's the secret to their success. Is they use us to solve problems they could never solve on their own, and actually that a lot of other species can't solve. The reason they can solve problems that other animals can't is because they know how to use us.
Yeah, they're the smart ones. The Genius of Dogs is the name of the book. We've been talking with Brian Hare today. Doctor, give out the website once again, people get a hold of the book, or those fun games you can do.
You can buy the book anywhere where you can buy books, or you can go and get it off dogmission.com. It's like cognition, but you've replaced the cog with dog.
Great. Dr. Hare, appreciate you taking a few minutes. Keep up the interesting work, and hopefully we can talk to you again sometime.
All right. I look forward to it.